Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Real Solid Snake. I wanted to say that we're sorry we haven't had any videos up in a while. A lot of things happened, personal things. The guys were doing their own thing, I was doing my own thing. I was away in South America for nearly a month. But now we're ready to come back and do more videos for you. But first of all, I want to actually do this top 10. I'm sure you've seen the title. This is my own personal top 10 films that I've seen in 2012. Now, some of them you may agree with, some you may not. So, don't be a bitch about it. That's all I'm going to say. So, here they are, my top 10 films of 2012. Number 10. The Muppets. Now, I've never always been a huge Muppets fan. The only other film I've seen of the Muppets was The Muppets Christmas Carol. But I went to see this with not so high expectations and came out absolutely loving it. The reason why I loved it was because, the characters were pretty much all excellent. I may not be a big Muppets fan, but I know who the Muppets are, and I've seen enough of the Muppet Show itself to understand the characters. So, yeah, it was just great to see them all back on the big screen. And the storyline created was heartwarming, charming, and of course was funny, especially with all those extra celebrity cameos in it. It just made it very entertaining to watch, and it was when I talk about the story, I did like the story about how they were forgotten, how the world didn't care about them anymore, and how this could be their big chance to come back. So, yeah, Muppets deserves a place on the top 10. So, Muppets, looking forward to the sequel whenever it comes out. Number 9. Grabbers. Now, this has got to be one of the most bizarre films that I've seen of 2012. I absolutely loved it, and believe it or not, I did not even know about the film's existence until 2 days before I went to see it. So when I looked up about it, it was actually filmed not far from where I live, and the storyline revolves around these aliens who come down to they suck people's blood, but alcohol is deadly to them. It dehydrates them, and pretty much whenever some of the locals figure out their weakness, they decide to lock every single person in their community into a pub, lock and load, and get as absolutely pissed as they can. It is a storyline that someone must have been drunk whenever they were writing. So it actually paid off in spades. It was actually a really entertaining film. And of course, supporting Irish filmmaking myself, it'll also deserve its place in the top 10 here. So yes, Grabbers at number 9. Number 8. The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, after Spider-Man 3, people were always skeptical about what Sam Raimi would do next with the franchise when it was announced that he and Tobey Maguire would come back. But of course, there was some disagreement with Sony. They parted ways and Sony announced the reboot. And this is what we got. Andrew Garfield takes over the role of Peter Parker, and Rhys Ifans takes over the role as Dr. Curt Connors, aka the Lizard. When I first saw it, I have to be honest that during the start of the year when I seen trailers, I thought this movie was going to suck. How wrong I was. The movie is a great reboot. The characters were different. I've had to say Peter Parker was actually, I think Andrew Garfield captured the more awkwardness of Peter Parker. Tobey Maguire captured the geekiness of Peter Parker. But, they kind of both work. But since this is now Andrew Garfield's series, I think he's a great Peter Parker. Best of all, though, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. How much better she was than Kirsten Dunst. She wasn't just the screaming dumbass in distress, and it actually made her a character that you actually enjoyed watching, and she was a lot less later in the years. Rhys Ifans was of course great as the Lizard too. The special effects were a lot better than the previous movies, if you ask me. They weren't just cartoony. So yeah, but the thing that it actually lacked compared to the other movies was the charm. The original Spider-Man trilogy had a certain charm to it that made it just made it, you know, obviously the better movies, except Spider-Man 3, which isn't a bad movie. This movie is far better than Spider-Man 3, but I just don't think it's better than the original trilogy as a whole. But still, it's a great movie in its own right, and it really makes me excited to see the sequel that's coming out in 2014. So, The Amazing Spider-Man at number 8. Number 7. Warhorse. Based off a theatre play. I have to say, right, that this movie really just you know, clicked with me. It was, yes, really long, but whenever I went in to see it, it didn't really feel that long. It just kind of flew by, and it was really mesmerizing. It was a story about a horse, but it was mesmerizing. And to me, I actually consider this to be probably Spielberg's best in nearly a decade. Because let's face it, he hasn't exactly been on top form the last decade. What with the likes of AI, Munich wasn't really anything special the way it was said to be, in my opinion. It actually was a return to form for him, if you ask me. So, Warhorse was just beautiful to look at. The cinematography was absolutely excellent. It was brilliantly acted. So, yeah, Warhorse deserves a place on this top 10 list. Warhorse at number 7. Number 6. Ted. Okay, so, like, again, I want to say that Ted, when I first saw the trailer for it, I was like, okay, so it's something created a Family Guy. How can that really work in film, the way he does his jokes? And I went there, some of them were, you know, some of them worked, but, sorry, a lot of them worked, but some didn't. But the ones that did work were absolutely hilarious, you know, crazy. It was vile, vulgar, but it was fucking hilarious. And Ted, he really just comes off as this lovable character, despite his really, really, really vulgar mouth. And just the whole story surrounding Sam Jones, Flash Gordon, had me in stitches. It's a film that you thought, you know, you probably read it, a talking bear and his flatmate. It just really wouldn't work on paper, but it does translate well into film. And it was actually one of the surprise hits of this year. It was a comedy that kind of everybody was talking about when it first came out, and it was just you know, really fun for a night out at the cinema. So 10 at number 6. Number 5. The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. I was surprised about this as many of others were. Peter Jackson, director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, returns to Middle-earth to direct The Hobbit trilogy. How can a 300 or so page book be turned into three-hour movies? Well, whenever we went to see it, we understood why. He stretched it out as much as he can, putting in bits that weren't even in the book, and just dragging out really long scenes, like the beginning of the movie, for example, where Bilbo stays in his hobbit hole for nearly 45 minutes. All that aside, Peter Jackson is a master filmmaker. He's one that I absolutely admire, because Lord of the Rings are my favourite films of all time. So I was really excited to see this, but I can't help but be a little bit disappointed that the movie just, well, wasn't of absolutely amazing quality. It was a really good movie, don't get me wrong, just wasn't as absolutely amazing. So, what did work? Well, the cast, as always, is fantastic. Martin Freeman was an excellent choice. I have to say, he was perfectly cast in the role of Bilbo Baggins. And he's actually the standout role in this movie. Others, well, Ian McKellen is still great as Gandalf, and Richard Armitage is great as Thorin Oakenshield. Now, visual effects, fantastic. Scenery, excellent as always. New Zealand is just a beautiful country, which I hope to visit someday. So, all in all, it was a really entertaining movie. And I just hope that its sequel, The Destination of Smaug, actually improves on the formula that was created, like, you know, and probably not so long scenes anymore, and don't make it so bloated either. But no, Hobbit, it came out on tops, like, you know. So Hobbit, Unexpected Journey at number 5. Number 4, The Avengers. Okay, this film, I was absolutely hyped to see. I think so was everybody else. But what was really everybody hyped to see? Was it just because it was all these superheroes on the big screen in the one movie at the one time? Or was it just because they knew there was a big massive battle at the end and they all wanted to go see it? I would say probably both. I mean, start of it, like, it was itself was a bit boring, but what is that when you have great visual effects, great cast, great action scenes, and just no great experience? And besides, yes, it actually was the first time you had so many superheroes on the big screen in the one movie for the first time. So it was something new, and it just kicked all kinds of ass. So everyone really just loved the writing, everyone loved the humor, and that's, of course, when I say that, everyone just always agrees that this is their favorite scene.
Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that. Puny god.
So, The Avengers at number 4. Number 3, Skyfall. What else can I say about James Bond? He's the most famous secret agent in the entire world, and celebrating his 50th anniversary came out with, quite possibly, the best Bond film of all time. I actually bought the Blu-ray editions of the James Bond collection for the 50th anniversary. And for me, it was my first time seeing the whole lot of them, and except the Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig ones. I had seen a few of the Sean Connery ones, but now I can honestly say, after watching the entire lot, Skyfall is my favourite. I do think it's the best of the whole lot. I thought it just reaffirmed my position of Daniel Craig being the best Bond. It was a great homage to the whole franchise itself, the whole 50 years of it, and performance-wise, Javier Bardem really excels at the villain role. The first, well, he was actually the best bad guy in it in a long time. Since Alex Trevelyan and Goldeneye, I think, you know, we haven't seen such a maniacal villain as Javier Bardem. So, what else? Yeah, the song Skyfall by Adele is now my favourite Bond song as well. So yes, really love Skyfall. I can't wait to see what they do next with the franchise. So, Skyfall number 3. Number 2, The Dark Knight Rises. Surprised? Yep, everyone thought that this was probably going to be number 1 on my list, but it's not. The reason why it's not was because there was something better, and you'll find out soon. But Dark Knight Rises is incredible altogether. I loved the storyline. Its bad guy is maniacal, twisted, and has a really strange voice, but sometimes funny as well. Probably because you can't understand a word he's saying at times. And I thought Christian Bale, he really excelled at the role of Bruce Wayne and Batman this time. I thought that his voice didn't really annoy me as much as this time as it did in The Dark Knight. And Tom Hardy as Bane was incredible. He really captured a more twisted sense of Bane, and the fight between him and Batman was excellent. The whole scenery, the cinematography was excellent. I thought the storyline could have been slightly better. The ending, for example, like the foreshadowing of the ending in the earlier part of the movie, I thought it was too predictable that was the way it was going to end. So I just thought that could have been done better. But other than that, Dark Knight Rises was a triumph, and it was a perfect end to the Dark Knight saga that Christopher Nolan created. So it's just a shame that we'll not see any more from him. But all in all, he actually rounded off probably the best superhero trilogy of all time. So hats off to Christopher Nolan. Dark Knight Rises at number 2. And the number 1 film that I saw in 2012 is
Star Wars Episode 1. The Phantom
yeah, I'm just kidding.
3D.
Number 1. The Artist. This movie was an eye-opener for me. I had to be honest. It really opened my idea that films don't need to be technically superior to be good. I had never ever seen a silent movie in my life, and I went to see The Artist, and it really moved me. It was, even without the sound and everything, it made you associate with the characters more, because it was based around the fact that you know, no sound in cinema. Jean Dujardin, the actor, his character is a silent film actor, but whenever technologies get superior, it shows that he cares more about the art than the technical superiority of the film. But the world is changing and he doesn't change with it. But it's with the help of another actress, an actress that he helped find, that comes to his aid. It's just a heartwarming tale of old 1930s Hollywood, and I absolutely loved it. I thought that it so deserved its Best Picture Oscar last year, and to be honest with you, I hope more filmmakers around the world take note of it and deliver films like The Artist for people to go see. Never, you know, I know that probably many people wouldn't go see a silent film like that, but to me, it's never really about the money. It's about creating good art as well. So The Artist really excelled at that. It was just a love letter to the cinema, you know, long forgotten, and it was kind of like Hugo. If I had to say, Hugo was actually better than The Artist, but it was released in 2011. So no, it was great. The Artist was definitely my number 1 film of 2012. So that's my top 10. I hope to be back with another video soon. So take care.